Incredible rescue. Discover the heartwarming transformation of a helpless cat found on a beach. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden shimmer over the waves. Emily and her spirited daughter, Lily, strolled along the beach scanning the horizon, the brisk salt air brushing against their cheeks. Their laughter danced with the ocean breeze, but underneath the surface, ripples of unspoken tension lingered. Life had tossed both women around like a fragile seashell, breaking them but leaving traces of their resilient beauty intact. Suddenly, Lily froze mid-sentence, a look of shock washing over her face. Nestled between rugged rocks was a shivering ball of fur, its wide eyes pleading for help. The cat was tiny, its once proud white coat now caked with sand and grime. "Mom, look!" Lily exclaimed, her voice thick with emotion. Emily's heart twisted. How many times had she felt just like that cat? Abandoned, vulnerable, longing for safety. Her father, a combat veteran, had walked away years ago, leaving behind a chasm of pain. She scooped the trembling creature into her arms, feeling the warmth of life, the pulse of hope. The cat's purring filled the air, acting like a soothing balm for both mother and daughter. "Oh, we've got to help it." Lily beamed, her spark reigniting. They named it Sandy, after the beach that had seen their struggles and joys. Day by day, as Emily and Lily nurtured Sandy back to health, they found themselves sharing stories of their lives, intertwined like the strands in a seashell. For Emily, it became more than just caring for a cat, it was a chance to heal the wounds she had stored inside. They laughed over memories of their favorite beaches and cried over the stain left by abandonment. As the cat began to thrive, so did their relationship, each moment filled with warmth and laughter, but challenges lurked in the shadows. Schoolmates began to hurl insults at Lily, calling her ridiculous for caring about a worthless animal. Each taunt felt like a stab wound to her confidence. Emily watched as the light dimmed in her daughter's eyes. Lily was caught between wanting to be strong and feeling the weight of her mother's past. "I don't care what they say, Mom," she shouted one evening, tears glistening in her eyes, reflecting her struggle against the winds of condemnation. "People often don't understand kindness," Emily replied, squeezing Lily's shoulder. "But it's the kind heart that makes us who we are." Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The whispers of town soon grew louder, penetrating the walls of their little home. Criticism lingered in the air like fog, as secrets about Emily's past resurfaced, igniting discussions of her estranged father and what it meant for her now. The once tight-knit community began to question her parenting, leaving Emily battling not just for her dignity but for Lily's confidence too. As painful truths spiraled out of control, the sunlight fading behind dark clouds begged the question, could they survive this storm together? Gripping Sandy tightly, Emily felt a sense of determination blaze within her. The struggle to rise above societal judgment hit harder than any wave, but with Lily by her side and the firm resolve to stand up for one another, something inside them began to heal. Would their bond be the true legacy of love and resilience they always hoped for? The following weeks felt like a tidal wave, crashing over Emily and Lily's life. Sandy was blossoming, gaining weight and strength. The little cat's playful antics brought light back into their lives, even as the dark clouds of small-town gossip stung. Emily often found herself glancing at the window, dread creeping in when she saw the neighborhood kids gathering outside, whispering and pointing as if they were protagonist and antagonist in a tightly written drama. One afternoon, as Emily prepared a batch of homemade cat treats in the kitchen, she heard a distinct commotion outside. Lily's voice rang out, vibrant yet laced with desperation. "Leave her alone." A chill raced down Emily's spine as she rushed to the door, her heart pounding. The scene before her twisted in a way that made her stomach turn. The small group of kids surrounded Lily, their taunts sharp as broken glass. "Why do you even care about that stupid cat? A boy shouted, laughing as he tossed a pebble towards Sandy, who was sunbathing on the porch. "It's just a filthy animal." "Hey!" Emily's voice cut through the air. She stepped outside, her maternal instincts kicking in. "What's going on here?" The kids scattered, retreating into the distance as if her presence had cast a shadow. But one boy lingered, a friend of Lily's named Jake, who stood with his head down, shame painted across his face. I was just watching," he mumbled, but his eyes betrayed him. "It's not just a cat," Lily choked out, her fists clenched at her sides. "She's part of our family. You don't get to treat her like that." The fire in Lily's voice ignited something fierce in Emily's heart. She pulled her daughter close, feeling the tension unravel ever so slightly. "I'm proud of you, honey," she whispered, placing a kiss on Lily's forehead. After the scene had quieted down, Emily turned to Lily. "Want to take Sandy for a walk?" she suggested, hoping to shake off the remnants of pain from the confrontation. The cat, oblivious to the drama, curled itself in Lily's arms happily as they strolled down the beach. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of purple and orange, something shifted. They shared laughter and stories, Lily narrating tales about Sandy's imaginary adventures as if the cat were a superhero. Emily felt warmth spread through her chest. They were reclaiming their joy, one paw step at a time, yet behind their radiant smiles lay the truth that lingered, the chatter, the judgment, the past. It loomed overhead, a constant reminder of how quickly bonds could be tested. That night, Emily sat on the porch with Sandy in her lap. She gazed at the stars winking above them. What if this was just the calm before another storm? Just as their lives had begun to stitch themselves back together, did they truly have the strength to resist the storms of others' perceptions? Meanwhile, a flicker of movement out of the corner of her eye caught her attention. A familiar figure approached from the shadows, Jake, standing hesitantly at the edge of the yard. He raised a hand, almost timidly, as if unsure if he should even be there. "Hey," he called softly, nerves spilling over his voice. Emily felt a flutter of hope mingled with apprehension. Could this small act of courage be the turning point they all needed? With each heartbeat, she found herself wondering what might happen next. Would they unite to face the scrutiny together, or would the past become a barrier too tall to climb? Jake shifted on the edge of the yard, his gaze darting between Emily and Lily, his voice barely a whisper. "I wanted to say I'm sorry." Emily watched him closely. It took guts to step forward like this after everything, and she sensed the weight of his apologies. Lily looked at him with wide eyes, her little heart torn between anger and curiosity. "You weren't sorry when you were making fun of us," she shot back, her words tinged with the boldness of youth. "I know. I was being a jerk," Jake replied, an earnestness creeping into his tone. "But I've thought a lot about it. It's just I never had a pet, you know?" "I didn't get it." Emily felt a softening in her chest. Maybe it was a start. "Not everyone understands, Jake. But it's good you're here now," she said. She stepped aside, inviting him closer. As Jake approached, Sandy hopped off Lily's lap and strolled over, curiosity lighting her eyes. The cat rubbed against Jake's legs, and he bent down, hesitantly reaching out to pet her. Relief washed over Emily watching this interaction. "Sandy's not just a cat," Lily said, her tiny voice filled with conviction. "She's brave. She's ours." The tension of the afternoon seemed to melt into the warm breeze. Jake chuckled softly, looking down at the cat. "Yeah, I can see that." It was a small moment, but for Emily, it felt monumental. "Jake, would you like to join us tomorrow?" Lily asked, her face brightening with hope. "We could all go to the beach and play. Sandy loves the beach." A vulnerable part of Emily hoped that inviting him would ease the lingering tension, not just for her but for her daughter too. "Really? You wouldn't mind?" Jake seemed genuinely surprised. "Of course not." Lily's enthusiasm bubbled over. "The more, the merrier." Jake's smile broke through, brightening his face, and it felt like a reminder of the carefree days before the troubles. Yet, as happiness swelled inside Emily, a little voice of doubt whispered. Would this be enough to change things, or would the town's eyes remain sharp, ready to pounce at their slightest misstep? The following day dawned bright and clear, filling Emily with a sense of anticipation and dread. As they gathered their things, she kept glancing at Sandy, washing herself contentedly in a patch of sunlight. Maybe this was something they needed, a chance to reclaim their space in the world, with friends and laughter and joy. She felt her heart lighten as they walked, Lily skipping ahead with Jake, Sandy weaving through their legs. When they reached the beach, the salty air filled their lungs, and the sound of waves crashing against the shore melded with Lily's laughter. Emily watched as the kids played, forming a circle of small joys, splashing in the water, building sandcastles, and sharing snacks. But as she relaxed, a shadow crossed her mind. What would happen once the excitement wore off? Would the rumors flare back up? Some minutes later, as the sun hung high, a sudden shout broke the joyous atmosphere. A scream knotted in Emily's stomach as she turned. A group of kids from the neighborhood, the same ones who had confronted Lily before, had arrived. They edged closer, eyes glinting with mischief. Look who it is, the cat lady and her followers. One shouted, laughter bubbling up from the others. The weight of their words felt like ice. Uncertainty washed over Emily, and she felt the urge to defend them swell again. Would she have the strength this time to stand and fight for what mattered most? As the group loomed closer, the harsh whispers reached her ears, drowning out the joy of the day. In that moment, Emily wondered if this was the storm she feared, a reckoning they had yet to face. And deep inside, she felt it rising like the tide. Would their fragile bond withstand the relentless waves of judgment? Emily's heart raced as the laughter of the other kids rang sharper against the calming sound of the waves. She shot a glance at Jake and Lily, panic flickering across her face. Lily's bright smile faded, pulled into the shadows cast by the approaching kids. Jake, standing tall beside them, clenched his fists, determination etched across his young face. Hey! Leave us alone! Lily shouted, her voice trembling but fierce as she stepped forward, protectively positioning herself between Sandy and the boys. There was something divine in the defiance emanating from such a small person. Emily felt a swell of pride mixed with fear. Or what? One of the older boys sneered, flicking sand in their direction. What are you gonna do? Call your mom? Laughter erupted from the others, and for a moment, the world seemed to close in around them, the joyous beach day shrinking into a tight, suffocating ball of anxiety. Go away! Jake shouted, surprising even himself with the force of his voice. His hand shot up, pointing at them. You don't get to mess with us just because you think it's funny. It's not. Emily could hardly believe Jake's bravery. He had stepped into the fray without hesitation. That spirit was infectious, igniting a flame inside her. You're right, Jake, she said, her voice steadying as she joined him and Lily. This isn't funny. You're just being mean. The laughter faltered, replaced with confused glances, the taunting tone dissipating like the foam on the waves. For a heartbeat, their confidence wavered, and the tide of fear began to recede. Perhaps they had underestimated the strength of the bond they had, not just among themselves, but with the warmth they seemed to radiate. What's the matter? One boy scoffed, though the bravado in his tone had begun to weaken. You actually care about a cat? Yes, we do. Lily exclaimed, her eyes igniting with a fierce determination despite her small stature. She's family. And it's not just about her, it's about not letting bullies scare us. In that moment, Emily noticed Sandy sitting at Lily's feet, tail flicking rhythmically as if sensing the tension. Sandy raised herself, puffing out her chest as if to say she was intimidating too. The sight of this tiny cat brought unexpected laughter from both sides, breaking the tension a little more. Then, something strange happened. As the ringleader of the group shifted his gaze from the unwavering trio to Sandy, a flicker of recognition passed over his face. Wait, that's the cat from that video, right? The one that did the crazy jumps? Yeah, she's famous. Jake chimed in, earning a laugh from Lily. Sandy's a superstar in her own right. The other kids murmured. The laughter started to morph, not into mockery, but into camaraderie. Really? That's impressive, one of them admitted, glancing at Sandy with renewed interest. Before Emily realized it, a little peace had settled. "Simon, let us go back to playing," the ringleader said, stepping back. "We didn't mean to bother you guys." And with that, they turned to leave, the solidness of their group fractured but not entirely broken. Emily felt her heart lift, though a shadow of doubt still loomed. Did they truly mean it, or would they return with more shouts and sneers tomorrow? Turning to her daughter and Jake, she saw the new bond among them, one built not only on a shared love for Sandy but on an unyielding courage. It was a moment Emily didn't want to let fade. "I'm proud of you both," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, and they shared a grin that felt like sunshine cutting through clouds. But just as Emily began to process the warmth of the moment, a returning gust of wind rippled across their backs, and a familiar voice rang out once more, bringing with it that same icy fear. "What's this, a new clique? Don't think this changes anything?" The tides of uncertainty surged again with that taunt. What would happen next? Would courage be enough to hold their world together? The words hung in the air, heavy and oppressive like storm clouds slowly rolling in. Emily's heart sank as she turned to look at Jake and Lily, their faces now a mixture of defiance and concern. The ringleader had lingered, eyes glinting with mischief, as his friends backed him, forming a wall of uncertainty that seemed to block out the sun. "Seriously?" Jake called out, his voice wobbling slightly. "What do you want now?" The boys exchanged glances, contempt flickering in their eyes. "Just wanted to see how tough your little crew really is." The ringleader stepped forward, puffing out his chest. "What were you gonna do if we decide to stick around, huh? Meow at us?" Lily flinched but squared her shoulders. "We'll just keep standing together. You can't scare us away." As she spoke, a thought cut through Emily's swirling worries. This was a moment to act, to show her son and his friend that standing up for one another sometimes required taking a risk. Taking a deep breath, she took a step towards the boys. "Do you really think it's cool to pick on kids who care for a cat?" she asked, her voice calm yet steady. "What if you were the ones being bullied? Wouldn't you want people to stand by you?" That struck a chord, and the laughter faded, replaced by a silence as they contemplated her words. The ringleader's bravado faltered just for a second, a flicker of doubt crossing his face. "Why do you even care about that stupid cat?" he muttered, kicking at the sand. "It's just a pet." Emily felt her resolve growing stronger. "Because she represents love, loyalty, and friendship. Values that matter a lot more than being cool or tough." Seconds stretched into eternity as the beach air thickened with tension. It was as if the tide seemed to pause, waiting for a response. Then, Sandy made her move. Somehow sensing the shift, she leaped and bounded towards the boys, a tiny rocket of fur and unyielding spirit. Laughter erupted again, not from mockery but from genuine amusement. "Look at her go!" one of the younger boys exclaimed, pointing. The sight of Sandy, gracefully weaving through the sand, stirred something in the ringleader. He scratched the back of his head, glancing at his friends. "Okay, well, maybe we can just leave you guys alone for now." Emily held her breath, unsure if it was real or just a temporary truce. "Are you serious?" she asked, trying to mask her disbelief. "Yeah, I mean cat videos are cool," he replied with a shrug. "I guess we'll see you around." The group started to drift away, murmurs of their earlier bravado fading as they walked back towards the water. The moment led to cautious celebration. Jake and Lily shared wide grins, their confidence visibly restored. Emily felt a rush of relief, though a nagging part of her wondered if this was the end or just a moment's peace. "Do you think they really meant what they said?" Jake asked, fidgeting with the hem of his shirt. Lily knelt to scratch Sandy under her chin. "It doesn't matter. We know who we are. They can't take that away." Just as the weight of their recent fears began to lift, a more profound wave of uncertainty swept over them. Emily sensed it. Could they truly stand strong together through what was yet to come? Then, a piercing scream broke the tranquility of the day. Something was happening down the beach. What was that? Jake questioned, eyes widening. Emily turned toward the sound. Instinct kicked in, urging her to move. Let us see. As they raced towards the noise, adrenaline coursed through her veins. What awaited them on the shore could change everything again. And just like that, the next challenge loomed ahead. What would it be this time? As they sprinted along the sandy shore, Emily's heart pounded. Each footfall seemed to echo in her ears, a frantic rhythm that matched the urgency coursing through her. The screams grew sharper, more desperate. What were they about to discover? They finally reached a small crowd gathered near a pile of rocks, their faces twisted in fear and concern. Emily pushed through, her eyes scanning the scene. There among the jagged edges was a commotion, a small, trembling creature trapped between the stones. Is that a cat? Jake's voice trembled behind her. Lily gasped, she looked scared. Until that moment, Emily hadn't even registered how important that following instinct had been. Immediate compassion rushed over her, overshadowing her trepidation. We need to help her, she said resolutely. Are you sure? Jake's voice was small, but the decision had already been made. With careful steps, Emily approached the rocky outcrop. The small cat was clearly terrified, her fur matted, and her cries were filled with both panic and pain. Emily crouched low, eyes softening as she spoke gently. Hey there, little one. Can you come to me? The creature froze, wide eyes glistening with fear. Emily took another step closer, slowing her breath, trying to meet the cat where she was. It was then that she caught sight of the cat's leg, trapped awkwardly between two stones, a shimmering collar still clinging to her neck. Someone must be looking for her, Lily whispered, a new spark of hope lighting her eyes. Help me clear those rocks, Emily urged, glancing back at Jake and Lily. They immediately sprang into action, heaving at the stones together. Each movement brought a fresh wave of worry, but the three of them worked as one. Careful, careful. Emily pleaded, heart racing as they moved the last rock. The cat flinched, retreating further into her cramped space. No one wanted to shock her, but time was slipping away. We need to be quick. She's terrified and we don't know how long she's been stuck. With one final pull, they freed the leg. The moment felt like an eternity. But instead of scrambling away, the cat went still, eyes darting from Emily to the other two, but she hadn't run. Can you reach her? Jake asked, his eyes wide, cheeks flushed with exhilaration. Almost Sylvia extended her hand slowly, whispering calming words. The cat blinked, twitching one paw, as if unsure. It's okay, sweetheart. You're safe now. With a hesitant motion, the cat edged forward and nuzzled Emily's palm. It felt like a blessing. Tears gathered in Emily's eyes as she gently scooped her up, cradling the trembling body against her chest. The crowd had fallen silent, mesmerized by the vulnerable scene unfolding before them. Lily beamed with joy. We did it. We really did it. As Emily held the cat close, a wave of warmth flooded through her. This small act of kindness had made a difference, had transformed an anxious creature into a treasure of love. We need to find her owner, she said, glancing at the tag. Jake stretched up on his toes, peering over Emily's shoulder for a better look at the collar. It says Bella? Bella, Emily murmured, a smile breaking through. She could feel Bella's heartbeat, slow but sure against her. There was a glint in Bella's eyes, a hint of hope. But then, the shadows cast by the waves shifted again. Off in the distance, she spotted a figure, jogging towards them. The look on the person's face was frantic and determined. Emily's chest tightened as recognition flickered. Is that her owner? She whispered, heart racing anew. As the figure approached, urgency and fear clashed with the joy of the moment. What would this reunion hold? What if it wasn't a happy ending? Emily's breath caught in her throat. This could change everything again. Would they witness a transformation, or would the tides turn in despair? Emily's heart raced as the figure drew closer, the mix of fear and hope swirling inside her chest. The closer the stranger got, the more familiar their face became. It was a woman, her hair wild with the wind, eyes wide and searching. Emily knew that face from around the neighborhood. "Chloe!" Jake exclaimed, recognizing the woman as Bella's owner. Chloe's feet pounded against the sand, urgency painted on her features. "Bella!" she called out, her voice breaking slightly. The moment she spotted Emily cradling the delicate cat, her pace quickened. "Is she okay?" Chloe's words tumbled out, laced with concern. Emily felt the weight of the moment as she took a step forward, holding Bella gently in her arms. The cat's eyes were now glued to her, tiny ears perked up as if sensing the urgency in Chloe's voice. "She's free now," Emily said softly, her heart warming at the sight of Chloe's desperation turning into relief. "We helped her. She was trapped between the rocks." Chloe's gaze shifted to the cat, her breath hitching. "Oh," Bella, tears streamed down her cheeks as she reached for her beloved pet. Emily carefully placed Bella into Chloe's waiting arms. In that instant, the world around them faded. It was just the three of them, the scared cat, the concerned owner, and the girl who made it all happen. "I was so worried," Chloe sobbed, burying her face into Bella's fur. "I thought I lost you forever." Bella nestled close to her owner, purring softly as if to reassure her that she was home again. The sound brought a palpable sense of relief that washed over the group. Lily joined in, bouncing on her toes with excitement. "You found your cat? This is the happiest moment ever." Her voice rose, infectious, drawing smiles from the onlookers who had gathered to witness the reunion. Jake stood beside Emily, a mix of pride and joy replacing the earlier tension. "You really saved her, Em," he said, nudging her shoulder with an affectionate grin. Emily's heart swelled. The adrenaline of the rescue slowly dissipated, replaced by a soothing warmth. They had been scared, but now they were part of something beautiful. She exchanged glances with Lily, their shared joy palpable. Chloe wiped her eyes, her smile softening. Thank you so much. I was just walking her along the beach when she darted after a seagull. I couldn't find her anywhere." She paused, taking a deep breath. "You two are angels for helping her." As the words settled in, Emily felt a blush creep across her cheeks. They weren't heroes, just kids who followed their instincts. But in their hearts, they felt that rush of appreciation like a wave crashing at their feet. Then Chloe tilted her head slightly, an idea blooming in her mind. "I think a celebration is in order. Why don't I treat you all to ice cream at the shop? It's just a short walk from here." "Really?" Jake's eyes widened, the promise of ice cream adding a new layer of excitement to the day. Emily's stomach rumbled at the thought. "That sounds amazing. Bella could use a treat too." A giggle escaped Lily's mouth, the laughter lightening the moment even further. As they started toward the ice cream shop, Emily felt lighter, and the fear from earlier began to fade away with every step. However, as they reached the end of the beach pathway, a shadow drifted across her mind. Something still nagged at her. The sandy shore held secrets, it was a world of unexpected surprises. "Wait," she said suddenly, her heart racing again. "What if more animals need help? What if this isn't the only rescue waiting to happen?" Jake looked back at her with wide eyes. "What if we could be a team for that?" And just like that, a new adventure hung in the air like the salty breeze. Would they become heroes for all the lost creatures on the shore? The walk to the ice cream shop felt light and airy, a beautiful contrast to the weight they'd just shared. Emily couldn't shake the idea of being a team for rescues. Each step bubbled with excitement, but her mind raced with possibilities. How many other creatures needed saving? "Maybe we could make signs," Lily suggested, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Like a lost pets team?" "Yeah," Jake added, getting into the spirit. "What if we set up a little hotline? You know, for people to call in case their pets go missing?" The thought made Emily's heart swell. "We could have a little booth at the park, maybe on weekends? We could patrol the beach." Chloe listened, chuckling softly as she adjusted Bella's little collar. To see her beloved cat safe and sound brought her a peace that radiated throughout her. "Count me in. Bella can help too." The shop came into view, a colorful oasis of summer goodness. Everyone buzzed with anticipation, but Emily found herself lost in thought. What if they really could be heroes? Inside, the shop was overflowing with laughter and bright decorations. The scent of waffle cones filled the air, making Emily's mouth water. They shared stories as they placed their orders, Chloe opting for a double scoop of mint chip, while Jake went for a classic chocolate. Lily bounced in place, her eyes darting between flavors before settling on rainbow sherbet. Okay, Emily. What's yours? Jake asked, nudging her playfully. Maybe strawberry? She said, surprising herself. Strawberry had always been her mom's favorite, a sweet memory she realized she carried with her. As they devoured their ice cream, Emily watched Bella happily licking the melting ice cream off Chloe's fingers. Laughter mixed with the sounds of the bustling shop and then drifted into the warm air beyond. It felt good, wrapping around her like the heat of the sun. Once they finished, Emily wiped her hands on her shorts and took a deep breath. Are you guys really in for this? She asked, a sense of seriousness settling over her. Absolutely, Chloe replied, her tone filled with warmth. Bella and I would help any way we can. Lily nodded fervently. Yeah. Team rescue. Jake grinned, adding, we'll be like superheroes. The Animal Avengers. They erupted in laughter, but Emily still felt a longing beneath. She knew there were lost animals, of that, she was sure. She could almost see them in her mind, scared eyes peeking out from under bushes, soft whimpers echoing through empty streets. Her resolve hardened. It was more than excitement, it was a calling. As they exited the shop, the sun hung low, casting long shadows on the warm sidewalk. Emily looked at her new friends, feeling connected in that moment in a way that filled her heart with determination. Maybe we should start now, she said, her voice steady. There could be something out there right this second that needs us. Let us go. Jake shouted, electrified by the thought. With that, they charged forward like a parade, Bella safely tucked under Chloe's arm. But as they walked, Emily spotted a little path leading to a secluded area of bushes and trees near the beachfront. Something about it pulled at her, an instinct sharpening within. Wait! She yelled, hastening her steps toward the path. What if a cat is trapped back here too? As they ventured further, a rustling noise came from the bushes. Emily's heart thudded in her chest. Was it another animal in need? The thrill of the unknown filled her with a mix of excitement and fear. Would they find another creature waiting for their help? As they approached the bushes, the rustling grew louder, sending a shiver of anticipation through Emily. She glanced back at her friends, who mirrored her mix of excitement and uncertainty. Do you hear that? She whispered, urging them forward. Maybe it's a kitten. Lily exclaimed in a hush, her eyes wide with hope. Or maybe a puppy? Jake suggested, barely containing his bouncing energy. Chloe tightened her grip on Bella, whose whiskers twitched, sensing the tension. Let us just be careful, she said quietly, the protective instincts of a devoted pet owner kicking in. Emily took a deep breath, feeling the cool breeze against her cheeks. The smell of salt lingered in the air, grounding her even as her heart raced. Another rustle sent a surge through her body. What if it was something hurt? Would they be able to help it? Here goes nothing, she said, stepping closer to the bushes. She gently parted the branches, revealing a small clearing. There, hunched and trembling, was a tiny tabby cat, its fur matted and eyes wide with fear. Emily's heart sank. This cat was clearly lost and distraught. Oh no, she breathed. Poor little thing. The cat spotted them and hissed, shaking with trepidation. Emily knelt, trying to appear non-threatening. It's okay, we're here to help you. Her voice was soft, almost like a whisper on the wind. Chloe crouched beside her, offering Bella as a distraction. Look, Bella's just here to say hi. She cooed, hoping to ease the tension in the air. The tabby's wary gaze shifted, drawn briefly to Bella's playful demeanor. What if it's hurt? Jake asked, concern edging his voice. We should be really careful. Absolutely, Emily agreed, scanning the cat for any visible injuries. She noticed its thin frame, ribs hardly concealed beneath the fur. It looks like it hasn't eaten in days. As Emily settled further into a sitting position, she reached out her hand slowly, palm open, allowing the tabby to get a whiff of her scent. "Come on, buddy. We won't hurt you," she encouraged. Lily bit her lip, watching intently as the cat took a cautious step forward. In that moment, everything felt suspended. Would it trust them? Would it let them help? The tabby halted, ears twitching nervously, but then, surprisingly, it crept a little closer. With a flicker of hope igniting inside them, the kids held their breath. Emily smiled gently, feeling as though they had already made progress. "We can be safe for you," she whispered softly to the frightened feline. Suddenly, the cat lunged and dashed away, retreating deeper into the thicket. A wave of disappointment washed over Emily and her friends. "Where did it go?" Chloe cried, peering anxiously into the bushes. Emily's heart sank, but she felt a surge of determination rise up within her. "Let us split up and search for it," she said, gathering her courage. "We can't give up." "I'll check over there," Jake pointed to the left, while Lily sprinted to the right, her bright pink shirt bouncing behind her. Emily took a deep breath, resolutely stepping into the thicket, calling out softly, "Please come back." Minutes felt like hours as they called and searched. Suddenly, from behind a thick bush, she heard a faint meow. Emily's heart raced again. This was their chance. She pushed through the leaves, hoping with all she had that it would return. Would they finally earn the trust of the tabby, or was their mission to rescue it just beginning? The sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting a warm, golden hue over the beach as Emily and her team prepared for the next challenge. The thrill of rescuing Bella still tingled in their hearts, but now it was time to focus on the frightened tabby that had slipped away. "Did you hear that?" Emily whispered, straining her ears. A soft mew echoed nearby, sending a rush of hope through her. "This way." She motioned to Jake and Lily, her heart racing as they crept cautiously toward the sound. They made a unified effort, each peeking into the thicket, calling gently. "It's okay. We're not here to hurt you." Lily's voice was low and soothing. They felt like a search party determined to reunite a lost soul with home. From behind a tangled bundle of leaves, a flash of gray fur caught Emily's eye. "There!" she cried, pointing. The tabby sat trembling, its eyes wide and fearful. "Please, come here," Emily cooed, kneeling low, ready to reassure the little creature. Jake held his breath. "It's just like Bella at the beach before," he said softly. "Remember how scared she was?" The memory inspired Emily. "You're strong, little one," she called out, extending her hand slowly. "We're here for you. You've got friends now." For a fleeting moment, the tabby's posture shifted. It leaned a little closer, curiosity battling its fear. "Come on, little buddy," Lily encouraged, crouching beside Emily and offering her palm. "You can trust us." Emily felt the old familiar feelings of fear wash away, replaced by pure determination. They weren't just three kids, they were a team bound by love, trust, and a shared mission. At last, the tabby took a tentative step forward. Hope soared in Emily's chest. "Yes. That's it." A few more inches and then the little creature bolted, slipping hurriedly around the bushes. "Wait!" Emily called, her heart sinking momentarily. "Don't run." Then, the old instincts kicked in. Emily jumped to her feet, chasing after the cat with Jake and Lily hot on her heels. The chase felt exhilarating, a blend of heart-pounding adrenaline and childlike excitement as they zigzagged through the thick brush. "Stay together!" Jake shouted, laughter bubbling in his voice even as they raced. "It's like a treasure hunt." Finally, they stumbled into a small clearing, and Emily spotted the tabby huddled in a corner, shaking. In that moment, realization dawned. "This is our chance," she said, breathing heavily. Slowly, she approached again. "We're not going to hurt you, I promise. We just want to help." Their shared resolve made the air feel charged. The tabby peered at Emily, its eyes softened slightly, she could sense the fear beginning to thaw. "Let us sing to it," Lily suggested suddenly, her creativity shining through. Cats love music. Their voices became a sweet, lilting melody, harmonizing over the gentle rustle of leaves. Emily's throat felt tight with emotion as they sang the familiar tune of a children's song. The more they sang, the closer the tabby edged toward them, intrigue overcoming its trepidation. With a final trembling step, the tabby inched forward, and this time, Emily was ready. She reached out, palm extended. "You can do it. Just a little closer," she whispered earnestly. After what felt like a lifetime, the cat finally dipped its head towards the offered hand, nuzzling gently. Emily felt a rush of warmth spread through her, tears prickling in her eyes. They had made a connection, a turning point in their mission. "We did it!" Jake cheered, barely holding back his joy. Lily squealed, throwing her arms in the air. Together, they gathered around the fluffy little survivor, gentle hands supporting its frail body. The tabby purred softly, newfound trust glimmering in its eyes. "It's a victory," Emily smiled, emotion filling her voice. "Let us take it home." They named the tabby Fuzzy Heart, a symbol of the bond that had blossomed out of fear and love. Emily felt an inner glow as they walked back toward their beach. That evening, with Sandy purring beside Fuzzy Heart, the world felt right again. They shared stories, laughter, and ice cream, weaving the tapestry of their lives together. The storm clouds that once loomed over their hearts had cleared, replaced by the radiance of new friendships. As they settled on the porch, Emily turned to Lily and Jake. "This is just the beginning. There are more animals out there who need our help. Will you join me on this adventure?" "Absolutely!" they shouted, their voices full of enthusiasm. And just like that, under the bright, gleaming stars, Emily knew they were ready. They had faced fear and turned it into hope. Together, they could be the heroes this small town needed, a team bound by compassion, ready to rescue every lost creature that crossed their path. With hearts lifted and spirits soaring, they embraced the promise of tomorrow and the joy it would bring. Now is your moment. You need to subscribe right now to our channel so you don't miss the next heartwarming adventure. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these stories coming your way. I want to hear from you. Comment below with your reactions to this emotional ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this incredible transformation. Your support means everything.